friends? Hope you're doing well. So today I want to talk about something that's a little scary. It seems like the writing is on the wall, and we are definitely heading towards a recession. And a lot of people have been saying this has been coming, this is coming, this is coming. Things are going too good. It's been too long. I can even remember back in like 2016, 2017, people were like, at some point, it's gotta hit a tipping point. And I think we're getting very close to it. You can already see the crypto market has crashed super hard. Whether you're in crypto or you're not, I'm not in crypto because I don't ever really believed in crypto all that much. You can say what you want about it. There wasn't adopting of using crypto as a currency. It was kind of just like a thing that held value. So it was Beanie Babies is how I looked at it. I feel like the most common use of it was people buying illegal stuff on the internet. And that's all fine and dandy. And I think it's a good idea. I think blockchain, I think crypto, I think even NFTs are a good idea. But I don't think the execution really ever got there. Whether or not it will one day get there, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. What I am saying is I would not put any money that I wasn't prepared to lose to zero in the crypto market. That's what I think. And you could dunk on me all you want in the comments for that statement. But the crypto market is down. The stock market is seemingly going down. Other markets around the world are coming down. And that can be kind of scary, especially if you're younger and you haven't lived through a recession, or you're just getting started. I remember like the last major one was like 2008, and I had just graduated from my college, and it was getting a job was just like you couldn't get a job. So I was living with my parents at the time. I graduated college. I had just gotten fired from my job at the ice rink. And then I think, I got one interview out of, I probably filled out 75 applications for every kind of job. And I got one interview that did not go very well. And that was for a local video game store, of all places. So it's a little scary, the idea, but here's kind of what I'm thinking about, my plan, so to speak, and kind of some things that I think you could do to hedge your bets, and then make your way through a recession as good as possible. So my plan is primarily, I've for the longest time I've been pivoting towards making more YouTube content, making more content, on my own terms, because I like the idea. And here's the thing, I think that so there's it's two sides of the coin. I think YouTube potentially pays much less, even if it scales pretty well. I think the odds of me being some kind of millionaire off YouTube are very small, but to make a livable income, we'll say $36,000 a year off YouTube, I think that's a doable number for anybody if they are serious about it, and can put the time and energy into it, which that's a different equation, but I think anybody could possibly do it if they had even a nominal amount of resources and a willingness to learn basic video production, and on-camera personality, and just add some kind of niche. It really doesn't matter what you want to talk about, because there is a following for anything. You could be like a YouTuber that only talks about pens. There's a guy, one of the most popular guys, just picks locks. He's a lock picking guy. his videos get millions of plays. So like, pretty much anything could be YouTube worthy and get you to a point where, you might not be making the lockpicking lawyer kind of numbers, but you do okay, and you can, have a studio apartment or worth of income and be on your own terms, which to me is the exciting part, is that it's on your own terms. So that means not waiting around for the clients to email you, not waiting around for the phone to ring. I would never have to worry about where the next job's coming from, because I already have a stupid amount of ideas written down in my notebooks for like the next video. If I never came up with another idea for a video, I would not be able to produce all the ideas I have for videos. That said, I always ask for ideas for videos because I want to make stuff that people want to watch. So, you try to get the feedback, and that helps me narrow down stuff in my notebook. And then also I like giving back to the fans, because there's not that many of you, and I like, it's a two-way street. You watch me, and I make stuff you can watch. So, but I've also been doing that, so I don't have to worry about, where the next job's coming from. If I can get a consistent level of income from that, and even if I was making, $1,500, if I could cover my rent with just YouTube, then at that point the phone doesn't have to ring that many times a month for me to hit all my expenses and be fine. The other side of the coin is, with all the diabetes stuff, I have health issues, and if I'm on my feet all the time, then that could cause problems, and then that can cause cascading problems. This, I can sit down, I can be on my own terms, if I can't really be on my feet, or I can, I can film, if I'm filming, let's say if I'm gonna film B-roll for something, which none of my channels yet really use that much B-roll. I could do it on my own terms, and I could do it, an hour at a time, as opposed to a shoot, which might be a 12-hour day where you're on your feet the whole time, which, that starts to get risky for me with my feet and with how things have gone. And then if, things go badly one day, they can go from bad to worse very quickly. And so, kind of monitoring that, but getting back to doing things on my own terms is very helpful. I've also thought a little bit about leaning into doing editing. And I'm a pretty good video editor, and I'm a pretty decent photo editor, but I'm very slow. And so I don't really want to take that work, because I feel like it log jams me. Whereas I love going to shoot, so I'm also trying to lean into that, of getting paid less to do crew work, where I'm just one piece of the cog, and I show up, do the work, go home, and that's it. And I'd rather do that and make less money than worry about everything and be holding this shoot, in my head for 2-3 weeks, because that starts to get tiresome. There's I don't know what to call it, but it's like a parable, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's like, how heavy is this glass of water? It's not very heavy. By the way, I'm drinking water today. We'll get to that later. I'm just trying to drink more water, but there's more to, try to save money. Drink less Zevious, drink more water, because Zevious not hooking me up with any kind of sponsorship. That's beside the point. So it's like, how heavy is a glass of water? It's like, well, it's not very heavy. But it's like, what if you carry it all day? Then it starts to get heavy. So you want to set the water down, and that's how jobs are. You want to get them out the door as soon as possible. You get paid faster, get it off your mind, and then I can get back to doing what I like to do, which is the other reason I'm leaning more to YouTube. I just am enjoying it a lot more. And so along with that, I'm trying to save money, because the last couple of weeks I've been terrible with money. I've been spending money, a lot of eating out, which I need to curtail back on, just for my health, if nothing else, but also for my financial health. So, more grocery shopping, I think part of the problem is, like, every time I go grocery shopping, I'm like, I'm gonna be healthy, but then, like, that's not what I want to eat, so then I eat out. So I'm trying to split the difference, and like, well, eating bad at home is still generally better than eating out. So there's that. There's that part of the equation. So there's that. So that's kind of my strategy. And then I feel like the stock market might not be the best place to put your money right now, especially if you don't know what you're doing. But on the flip side of that coin is I still think people should invest. And I think there's something called dollar cost averaging, which says essentially the more times you buy in, the more likely you are to get the average price. So the recommended best practice is to pick a number that doesn't feel like a burden, and every paycheck put that amount into the market. Don't think about it too hard. Find stocks you like and then just like tap that, and if it's $10, if that's all you can do, that's fine. If you're young, $10 paycheck, that's $20 a month if you get paid twice a month, right? At the end of the year, that's $250, right? But it's less about the actual money in the account, because if it grows, it grows. But it's more just getting in that habit, and then as you make more money, that $10, maybe that becomes $20 the next year, and then maybe it becomes $50, and then $100, and then now it's starting to snowball. But that whole time, it's compounding, it's building something for you, especially if you invest in stocks that have good growth potential or stocks that have a dividend, and you just set the dividend to reinvest, because it's mindless at that point. You could say, okay, Union Pacific, Coca-Cola, IBM, those are 3 stocks that have dividends. They've had dividends for a long time. They're good, well-established companies. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. You buy into them, then you just set the dividend to reinvest. And each paycheck, you just add the money to one of those 3 companies. And then over 10 years, like pretty soon, that $10 a week, which doesn't seem like much, has all of a sudden become a big amount, even if you never have any real upward mobility. With that, though, recession means prices go down, so you're kind of getting things at a deal. And if you're young, over the lifetime, the stock market will go up and down. Theoretically, it should go up, so you'll be okay. Yeah, so that's that side of the coin. So I'm still young, I'm 35, young in the relative term of retirement, so I will continue to add money to the stock market, what I can afford at the time, which I've been trying to do, like at least $100 a month, which I know isn't a lot, and I'm kind of behind on what I feel like my retirement portfolio should be. So this might be a good opportunity if I start seeing things go real down. I might take that as an opportunity to dip in a little more, dig deep, cut some costs, and put that in the market instead, and hope that in 5-10 years that gamble will have paid off. And so kind of along with that, it's like finding ways to save money, and finding ways to make new money. So that's the other piece of advice. If you want to navigate a recession, the best thing you could do is build your network, build your contacts, and build your skill set. So you want to develop new and possibly diverse skills, and you want to meet more people who may hire you for those skills. So, for example, I do a lot of stuff with cameras. So, my diversification has been like YouTube. But I've also been thinking about getting into doing woodworking, which is different but similar. I think you learn the process of making a video is really not all that different from the process of making a wood project, because with a video you have a concept, you kind of blueprint it out, you gather materials, and you start to assemble those materials. And that's all woodworking is you have a concept, you gather the materials you're gonna need, you blueprint it, you gather the materials you're gonna need, and then you put it together, and then when you've done, it looks like shit, so you go back and you fix it. And especially with woodworking, it's very much, and video making, you can get into formulas, and you make the formula, and you can start to get pretty good at it. People will pay you for that thing. So, and again, woodworking is another thing where I could build things and then I could sell them, this chair, and if I go down to my garage and put something together, like, things will I'm doing as much as I can. Things should work out pretty well. Granted, I've made like 600-700 of these videos, and I still make like $15 a month doing it, so maybe that's not the best plan. But it's the thought, and it's knowing. It takes off the mental pressure. I'm doing what I can. I'm making this video. So yeah, that's I guess that's my advice. I spent a lot of time like building up to that. The advice is really simple. It's like network, skills. That's it. And so, I mean, I think there's something to be said of like finding in-demand skills, finding complementary skills. If you're a graphic designer, learning photography and video makes you a more attractive hire. Having a portfolio for all three, that's gonna happen, especially as belts get tightened, companies have less money. You're gonna want to be able to do a couple different things. If you are the person in the office who can do X, Y, and Z, even if you're a younger staff, and maybe, you know, most people are like, oh, the younger guys get fired first. And like, that's not always true. Like, the older people that make more money are gonna have to justify what they make, and a lot of times they fucking can't. So think about that, and think about what skills you can learn. You know, if you're in a standard office, learning Excel, PowerPoint, learning good note taking. You know, you think of like apps like Notion. If you get really good at designing Notion apps, those things get crazy. I've seen some stuff. And if you can make really good PowerPoints, if you work in data for some reason, if you can learn some graphic design so you can show data in a way that's easy to read, you will help secure your job. So think about those kind of skills. That's kind of what you want to learn. And then also think about ways you could take the skills you have and earn side income. You know, so if you are really good at Excel, maybe you could build custom spreadsheets for people. You know, there's a market for pretty much everything these days on the internet. So that's definitely a thing you could do. I know there's a lot of like TikTokers and Instagram people that are like, oh, you could do drop shipping, and that's something you could try that stuff too. And if you're in marketing, that would be a good alternative, is to look at drop shipping and learn how that works. I don't know if I would, with the way those people promote that, it makes me feel like this maybe not be a great opportunity for most people. I think like YouTube, I think anybody could do it and be successful. It's whether or not you're willing to have the trial and error, and do you have the time? I think maybe that's the big thing, is do you have the time to fail and iterate enough times to get to success? And what does success, what do you need to survive? How can you limit that number? And, because the lower the bar is, the easier it is to jump over. You know, if you only need $1,000 a month, you can go work anywhere. Any minimum wage job will get you there. So that's something to think about too. But, I mean, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. If you're working nonstop and you're only surviving, eventually you're going to hit a wall. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm looking to change things up and trying to see how can I change things up, and how can I get back to a point where I feel like it's going up again. And no matter what anybody says, remember, even in recessions, there are still people who raise themselves up and become amazing. Like, yes, people get hurt financially very badly during recessions, but there are also people who have great upward mobility, have great success, who win. Like, a recession is not the end of the world. It's just a little bit harder, and you need to be just a little bit better to succeed. So that's what I got for you today. If you're stressing out about the recession like I am, like, it's okay. You're not alone. We're going to get through this together. So that said, I hope you're doing well. And if not, well, I hope that turns around for you real soon. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one.